No? Okay, that's my special effect. It's an elevator. No? Really bad. Elevator up, elevator down. How you doing? I'm Kirk Buchner along with Chris Mouradian, and we are doing the elevator show. Chris, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good today. Nice warm Wisconsin day. Got outside a little bit after work, and now I'm sitting inside in the air conditioning, talking to Kirk. So, talking to my buddy here.
But what day is it? We're recording this on July 1st, which is
Canada Day.
there we go, Canada Day.
Happy
Or
Canada Day to our neighbors.
yes, or as you call it, Bobby Bonilla Day. We're both right. But for our purposes, we are looking at the elevator show, where we look at who in the month of June, in our case, had a great month that helped their case go up for their Hall of Fame or went down for their Hall of Fame. And this could be our last big show for a couple months because, as Chris and I were talking, the next 2 months it's all about baseball. So we're gonna have to scrape a little bit, but I don't think we have to scrape that much this month.
Yeah.
We just watched the NBA Finals, the NHL Finals, and I think there's a lot of elevator ups for us both.
Mhm.
Uh, as we always do, we don't tell each other what we've picked, but Chris and I have got to know each other relatively well. So I think that can I be safe to say that we can look at the NBA Finals right now and the NHL Finals right now and just say like, hey man, who went up?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's really where the majority of my um, topics, players, whatever, however you want to title it here, are coming from this month. So we'll probably agree on more than usual here this time.
Yeah, yeah, we had a good stretch where we weren't. I wouldn't say that we disagreed, but we just like came up with different things.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think here we're just probably beelining on the same thing. And let's just go right to let's go back to basketball.
Sure.
Before we do that, because like you're in the great state of Wisconsin.
Hmm.
I've driven through that twice, but at some point, and we are going to go to the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame. You and I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's a great time. Was up there last summer with my
Yeah.
son Alexander for took him there for the first time. So
Okay. Well, you can take me at some point in time.
yeah,
Uh, might be more fun with Alexander than me, but I don't know. Something massive just took place for the Milwaukee Bucks.
yeah, go figure.
Okay. Well, a move that, as we're recording this again on July 1st,
Yep.
Canada Day.
NHL Free Agency Day and soon to be known as Damian Lillard Day in Wisconsin here.
Well, let's talk about him. It looks like
Yeah,
maybe you're going to keep Giannis. I
who
don't
knows?
know. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I mean, like Damian Lillard. You know what? I'll admit when I get shit wrong. I'll admit when I write shit wrong. And I have a basketball Hall of Fame monitor. And when Lillard joined Milwaukee, and I don't think this is actually wrong, that when Lillard joined Giannis, I wrote that this is the biggest star that Giannis ever played with,
Mhm.
which I guess is still true, but it necessarily wasn't the best teammate he ever had. And the 2 years that Lillard was with Giannis, how do I put this? Yes, the stardom was there, but you put that on the table, but the table was like you're putting like two sets of potatoes on Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Am I kind of right here?
You're
Where Jrue was the gravy, and we can talk about Jrue later if you
yeah,
want to.
yeah. So you're spot on, and I've made it known several times on recordings we've had here that I thought the trade was a mistake from the start. So today I am tooting my own horn. Toot, because I have been proven right.
Yes,
Um,
do it.
like I said, I did not like the trade from the start. I didn't understand moving out Jrue Holiday. I
Mhm.
thought he was maybe not the more talented of the player between, yeah, Lillard and Holiday, but he was the more complete player that helped the team better.
Mhm.
The Bucks front office apparently wanted to go for more of a splash, more of a talented player, high profile, and it never worked. Injury aside, there was rumblings towards the end of the season that the Bucks were going to explore trade opportunities this offseason to because they were seeing that it just wasn't the mesh wasn't there. Um, and you look at what happened to Milwaukee after they made the trade. They made the playoffs twice. They exited the first round twice. Holiday goes to Boston. They won a championship. Um, the team is now in salary cap difficulties. I mean, they always were, but even more so now by having to pay 22 plus million over the next 5 years through the stretch provision that they used to waive not Holiday, Lillard today, which is obviously going to restrict their ability to add talent to a roster that was lacking talent from the start. You have one of the most talented players of his generation, and you failed to build a team around him. In addition to waiving Lillard, Brooke Lopez, who was a pretty important player for the team over the last 7 years,
Mhm.
decided to take his game out west to the Clippers. They are adding Myles Turner, who several years ago looked like a star in the making for the Pacers, but kind of plateaued a little bit. Is still a very, very solid player and probably is going to be an adequate replacement for Lopez at a
And ten,
younger age but higher
10 years
cost.
younger. I
Yeah,
would take that plateau
yeah,
personally. Yeah.
yeah.
Love Miles.
Um, so going to cost more than Lopez, but is younger. So
Mhm.
you give and take there. But yeah, the rumblings are that Giannis wasn't happy with the move, and I don't necessarily know that he was unhappy with the decision or that he wasn't consulted or just didn't like seeing his friend kind of blindsided by it or however it went down. But he's been a team first player his entire tenure here in Milwaukee, and
Yeah.
you got to worry that at some point the patience is going to run out. He's going to see what could have been and want to, capitalize on what's left. And the front office is really under pressure here to build a team, which they had a team and they destroyed by bringing in Lillard and moving out Holiday. So
And you were
it's
right.
going to be
You were
interesting.
right. You schooled me on this one. Uh, for our elevator purposes, like when I first came up with this in my head, uh, and this branched off to a show with you and uh, I envisioned the elevator as this thing when you got to the top, right? And here's the elevator, and there was Debo. You know Debo from the Friday film, right?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
And Debo was sort of like,
Hmm.
you get to come in the hall. That was a horrible impression there, but I wasn't I don't know what the hell I was going there, but or Michael Clark Duncan from A Night at the Roxbury, my favorite bad film.
There you go.
Yeah. And so like for me, Dame was in the show. Dame's gonna get into the Hall of Fame first ballot because 9-time All-Star, 7-time All NBA. And as you and I have discussed, the Basketball Hall of Fame is a little bit wonky in terms of first ballot and whatnot. But I just imagine Debo or Michael Clark Duncan going like, Okay, yeah, here you are. So here's my little blip on the radar for Dame, even though that, my God, look at the career that he's had. But if Tracy McGrady's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no matter what, how is Lillard not? No matter what happens here. It
Yeah.
yeah.
His career, what he built in Portland under no pressure and being the player that could just be the team,
Mhm.
you know, it's there. The All-Star appearances, the All-NBA appearances, the 75 top 75 player, whatever whatever it was, the All 75 team or All
Right.
NBA.
Yeah.
It's there. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer. But as you pointed out previously, he never had anybody talented to really be his running mate.
Mhm.
And Portland wasn't really a team that was ever contending for a title while he was there. They were decent, but there was never the pressure to bring the trophy back to Portland.
Mhm. Yeah.
It
No.
was there was here in Milwaukee, and I don't know if that was just not in the DNA there with the mix with Milwaukee here, that that pressure was something he wasn't expecting. Or
Or just
uh,
doesn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't.
yeah, no, it clearly didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And
mean, this is going to be
Giannis,
something that they're going to look back on
yeah.
for years and try to figure out why it didn't.
And the funny thing is it's not like when he got there that his game fell apart. It just didn't work,
Mhm.
and I love Dame. For what it's worth, not on this show, not a goddamn thing. Dame, if you're watching this, I know you're not. You're the only NBA player who can actually rap. Again, I know you're looking at this face and saying, like, what the hell do you know? But I think you're fucking awesome. So there you go. Uh, Sticking with basketball, we've said this already in our show, our regular show that we do, not an all in with our good friend Dave Whitlock. Uh, Oklahoma City, you've won the championship. This is phenomenal. To my friends here living in Seattle who went like, nah. But oh my God, this could be a team for the ages. And here's my biggest elevator up for everything. It's not Shea. We talked about SGA. I think that you and I would probably agree that if you win the MVP and a title in the same year, you're probably going to get in the Hall of Fame in some capacity. Uh, Gilgeous-Alexander could like stink up the another 10 years and he's getting the Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm gonna give you somebody who, if we were doing this 10 years ago, would have been my elevator bucking down so much that I never would have thought that he would ever see the light of day.
Okay.
Sam Presti, the GM of
Yeah.
the Oklahoma City Thunder, a man who has now won his fourth title, three as the AGM with Spurs. And if I was doing this like 14 years ago, I would have been going like, "You're a moron. You just traded Harden when you have Harden, Westbrook, and Durant."
Mhm.
Well, here we are now. You're champion with the biggest theft. We didn't know it at the time. Getting Alexander for Paul George, and you got a bunch of draft picks. He still
Mhm.
has another draft pick coming for 2026.
Yeah, let's see
So yeah,
see if we can get the page open here and see if I can name off the players and obviously how important they were
yeah. So
to their
yeah,
championship
while you're
here.
doing that, so he's got that, won the executive of the year this year,
Mhm.
has been there since 2007, and okay, you're the man. What more can I say?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
are a bigger elevator up in basketball than anyone else this month.
Yeah. Yep. So draft picks became Trey Mann,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Williams, who has really developed into a very strong player,
Mm-hmm.
defensive wizard, and
Third team,
very
third team All
third
NBA.
team All NBA. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Jaquez Jr. and Dylan Jones, and they, like you said, they still have the pick coming next year, and they got out of that Paul George contract. That's that's almost as important.
Right? I mean, like, I honestly would have thought, okay, so I'm trying to think like 10 years ago, if you would have said, like, hey, Kirk, Buck, call me Buck. That's really what my name is for the most part. By the way, you know who's gonna like win the championship? Oh, LA. Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Oh, Boston. Yeah, you're right. Oh, Toronto. Your team, yes. Oklahoma City, yes. Who would have bought it? Who
Yeah.
would have bought that 10 years ago that Toronto would have won a title, Oklahoma City would have won a title, and it's the hardest sport to sort of like do that because of the championships around that the power of the player. But it happened.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing. I'm so happy for for a bunch of people I've never been to. I've never been to Oklahoma City. I've never been to Oklahoma. You're closer, like no,
Never been there either.
never. Okay, I don't know. I just see
Closest
it's
was Tennessee, but yeah, I mean it's
been Tennessee. Okay, yeah,
Tennessee.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean no, it's great for the city of Oklahoma City. It's
Mm.
great for the franchise. They have a bona fide star in SGA. They have talented players around him. They're young. They Nobody on their team
Young.
was has played more than 7 years in the league here. Alex Caruso is their most veteran player according to their roster here. They have a chance to run it back next year and the year after that and the year after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I this is going to be a lot of fun. And again, I hope, like I said before in previous shows that you and I have done with just you and I, and then with Dave, run this. This is your face.
Mhm.
And I feel real bad for Tyrese Halliburton, who seems like just a phenomenal guy. Also, the fact that he's a pro wrestling fan, like I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's shit. What could have been on the Indiana side, with him
Well, and
falling.
Turner's gone. I
Well,
love
now,
Myles Turner.
yeah.
I did I say, maybe I didn't, that he was the guy I was happiest for if they would have won?
No, I don't think. Maybe you did. I just wasn't paying
I
attention at the
might
time.
not have.
But
I might not have, but I mean, like, he's somebody who I just absolutely love, and I love that he's now going to be with Milwaukee if Giannis stays.
mhm.
Just seems like that. I love. I'm a big Myles Turner fan.
Yeah,
Saying that, man, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen next year. Unless I'm, and thank God I'm not a television executive.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Oklahoma City's gonna deservedly get a lot of primetime games and a chance for the audience to learn the greatness that is SGA and this Oklahoma City team.
Yep. And they like I kept saying before, make this man a star, and let's hopefully they can run with it. At this point with the elevator show, that you and I are both big hockey fans, and I think it's safe to say that my good friend here from Wisconsin, me from many places in Canada, when it comes right down to it, man, like hockey's our jam, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And the Stanley Cup happened already. It feels like it happened so many more months ago, but realistically, as we're doing this on Canada Day, Canada, Uh, it really wasn't. And there's so many people that we have as an elevator up. Obviously, the Florida Panthers have won that. I wanted to do a deep search and see who came up with the no state tax in Florida, because whoever that ban is, we should go in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
There you go.
I don't know if you saw this, Chris. There have been a couple articles on NHL.com and other things where it's like, well, it's always going to be sort of like in Florida or in Nevada. And here I am as a Canadian, like, well, yeah, I should be mad, but what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. Tennessee as well, Nashville.
Tennessee's got no state tax?
No state income tax there as well.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Florida Panthers, congratulations to them, back-to-back champions. Never a doubt, right?
No, I mean, God damn, no, it doesn't feel right for me at all, especially.
Yeah.
Well, especially again, like a 20-year-old Kirk would be like, but anyway.
Yeah, and much like you did with Oklahoma City, my number one star elevator up is Bill Zito, the general manager of the Panthers. And
Please, yeah.
yeah, local guy, he grew up here in Wisconsin, spent some time his high school years going to school here. Was born in Pennsylvania, but spent his youth here in Wisconsin. So kind of got the local ties here. So happy for him there. But the team that he's built and the moves that was made, Brad Marchand, um, Seth Jones, and the team that is still there today after July 1st, free agency. They've essentially run it back. And they may have a little work to do. I think they're slightly above the cap right now, but all the key pieces are there. They re-signed Ekblad, they re-signed Marchand, they re-signed Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
They already had Forsling under contract. They had Reinhart under contract. Barkov's under contract. You're the rest of the NHL is now looking at a team that just handled, well, let's just call it what it was. They handled the Edmonton Oilers 2 years in a row now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're essentially the same team they were this past year, next year. Why wouldn't you expect them to win again? With the talent they have, and with what he's shown as general manager, why wouldn't you expect them to add the correct piece that's needed mid-season or at the deadline?
Like Marchand this year, yeah.
Like Marchand, or like Jones. Seth Jones was added earlier in the season. They stole him from Chicago.
Right.
And
Totally
that
agree.
was, yeah, I mean, that was under the radar at the time and paid off in spades when the finals, the cup playoffs rolled around. So yeah, Bill Zito, number one elevator up for me this year out of the Panthers organization.
Yeah, 1,000%. I had him too. So I'm sort of like glad that you mentioned him. Again, it's so weird for me. Is this guy who like 30 years ago, I wonder, because like we're similar age. I wonder if the person that it was then would have like been friends with you. It's like
So mid-20s.
Oh no, I was so pissed off because Quebec left for Colorado.
Oh yeah.
And then there was well, there was a very good chance that the province was going to leave Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like well, that's who I was. And then like I was going all in on my hockey fandom with Ottawa, and like Ottawa lost to Anaheim, and it's like, God damn it, like Anaheim is Carolina's so good. But at the time, my thing was those cities didn't care. Well, they do.
Now they do. Yeah.
Now they do, which is as much as okay, fellow Canadians. I get why you hate Gary Bettman. So do I. Turned out he was right. Turned out he got what he wanted. Yep. Hi. Okay.
Yeah, outside of Phoenix and Atlanta, and
Well,
don't
Atlanta
close the
was
doors
never
on
going to work,
those.
but Phoenix was a fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, why did it, so they're talking expansion again, and
Mhm.
I build what you have. Don't continuously grow here.
Well,
Let
leave Atlanta alone. Leave them alone. Leave Brittany alone. But Atlanta's not going to work because Atlanta's just not a non-college football place or college sports place.
they
I,
got
I
the Falcons, they got the Hawks. I mean, that's where their fandom is. They got the Braves.
the Atlanta Hawks don't even work there
Yeah.
in some
But as
way.
far as, crossover scheduling there.
Yeah, I mean, like, just I can understand why you're looking at Atlanta and thinking like,
Yeah, it's a huge
it's to
market.
work. It has to work. It
Yeah.
doesn't work. Like, I don't know what to tell you other than it doesn't work.
Yeah, go back to Quebec, give them a shot. But I seriously don't think that expansion's the right move for the team. They need to grow the teams that they have, and
I, I'd
solidify
love for them,
everything.
I'd love for them to try Phoenix again. I really believe it.
Yeah.
Just go in the
10,
once you have in that core center,
yeah.
and
You have to have the right location for the arena.
right. And with Atlanta, I mean, they've tried it in the 70s. They tried it 15 years ago.
90s.
If you
Yeah.
lose your team from Atlanta to Winnipeg,
Yeah.
I done. I I don't have to say anymore. Uh, saying that, let's look at the who also went elevator up here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Player wise,
been on record about my love for Alexander Barkov.
mhm.
I think I said that when you and I started doing this series.
Yeah.
He's now won his second or third Sulky.
Second cup, third sulky.
Yeah, I don't need any more. I think once he becomes eligible, he's going to go in right away. Uh, Here's the interesting thing too. When you look at the Florida Panthers, in terms of names, Barkov, Bobrovsky, Kachuk, the man who actually had the most points this year was Sam Reinhart. And here's a guy who has not won any major individual awards. So I don't think it's wrong to say that he catapults the most, no? What do you think?
He was one of the two players that I thought most benefited from the cup win.
Mhm.
Like you said, he's a I don't want to say an afterthought because that's not the right word, but he's definitely under the radar when he comes to thinking about players from Florida. Like you said, you mentioned you get the Bobrovskys, you get the Kachucks,
Right.
Barkov, the captain. Those are the names that kind of come right to mind. But Reinhardt's been there. He's one of the most important pieces of that team, but he just doesn't seem to get the press that the other players get. But he just goes out there
Hmm.
and scores, and the team wins, and he's a huge factor behind all that. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. And so we have Sam Bennett, who just signed a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I don't have him in the Hockey Hall of Fame at this point. I think he's like you and I, like you sent me a message and it's like, elevator up. And like, yeah, but elevator from what? I love Sam Bennett,
Yeah.
but Sam Bennett is your Conn Smythe winner on a team that just won second title, could win the third. You and I are both baseball fans. Remember Pat Borders?
Yeah, catcher for the Blue Jays.
Yeah. So Pat Borders was the World Series MVP on the 1993 team.
Okay.
And that's your MVP. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's how good this team was. And that's kind of how I feel about Sam Bennett. And although Bennett's higher. And
Yeah.
Sam, if you're watching this, I feel higher than Pat. But
Yeah, Sam, if you're watching this, comment down below and let us know.
oh, please do, because like I've had a bunch of people tell me how much of an asshole I am.
It'd be nice to hear from Sam.
Right. But you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, yeah. Some players are great in the moment.
Well, he was very good. Just like he was like the fifth guy who just sort of like, all right, let's look at the totals. We're gonna go with him.
Yeah, it was either I
He's
heard
so
it came down
great.
to him or Marchand
Yeah.
there, but it could have been several players, and
Yeah.
besides those two. Winnie has her own opinion, so
Okay, that's Winnie. Winnie is the official mini Jashend of this show. Winnie, he loves you or hates you. I don't know.
I like Sam Bennett. I wish he was on the Canucks. Better than
Evander Kane?
95% of the players on the team. Yeah, they take him over just about anybody else on the team. Not named Quinn Hughes.
I can't wait till we do a hockey trip, you and I. How much fun is that going to be?
Yeah, that'll be good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, is he done enough in his career? Obviously he started out in Calgary.
Bennett? No.
Does he need a third championship? Does he need a second Conn Smythe?
I think with Bennett, this sort of like puts him in. He gets in the building of the Hall of Fame show. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of like gets him into that elevator. Like, oh, that's where the building is that has the elevator.
Okay. He's walked through the front door. Now he's got to walk into the elevator.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay. How do you feel about Brad Marchand?
Oh, Brad Marchand. I love Brad Marchand.
Do you think he's Hall of Famer today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think he was prior to winning the second cup? Okay. I was kind of unsure of that because he had the good run in Boston. They had the cup, but like you mentioned with Bennett, what individual awards did he have to go with it?
Guess I've just seen him play so much. Like for me, he's just that guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I had him basically like at 65, 75% prior to winning the cup. Now I have him at about an 85 to 90%.
Yep.
I think that second cup is a big deal for him. The fact that he's back with Florida going forward here increases his chances even further. I don't think he's
I already had him
not a first. Yes, I don't know that he's a first ballot guy, but I think he ends up getting in there now. I feel more sure of that than I did a month ago.
Yeah, huge Brad Marchand fan. Well, especially for that trade. I think I think I said this on the show. How I thought this was going to go very well for you guys. Well, not you guys, but for Florida. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple more in hockey that I want to go through.
How about an elevator down? How about an elevator down? I don't even know if it's necessarily an elevator down.
Okay, go because you might have some. Obviously, you have something I don't. So go ahead.
How about the Los Angeles Kings?
Okay.
Well, they signed Corey Perry, so they're going to lose the cup.
Oh, yes.
Boy, that's got to be the Corey Perry. I mean, we've mentioned him before as actually an elevator up, based on the fact that he just kind of keeps plugging along, keeps helping teams get further and further in the playoffs. But 5 of the last 6 years, he's been in the finals and lost. That's got to feel horrible.
Hey, Corey, whoever they draft, I know that their mom's your age. No.
Never did get closure on that.
One more, one more. No, 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 no. No, don't do it, dude. Don't be Delonte West. Don't do this shit.
Yeah, it just like I said, I didn't know where to throw that in there. It's just a very wild coincidence that this has happened, and like I said, I don't really think it's an elevator down, but just jokingly had to get that mentioned here tonight since he signed with LA today or agreed to sign whatever.
Yeah. No, I did see that. Uh, yeah. No,
Anyways,
I just find it funny.
all
Uh,
right.
okay, we got the Jets hat here. So elevator up. Having said that, if I was in the committee, I'm not sure. Connor Hellebuyck won his third Vezina.
First heart.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know. Three Vezinas to me is a Hockey Hall of Fame.
Resume. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but
That's rarefied air there, for sure.
not just work. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You got
So
three Vezinas in a heart.
yeah,
Saying that, you and I both watched in real time, as did everyone else. Mhm. A lot of people wondering, like, oh fuck it, let's go with Comrie, Eric Comrie in both the first round and the second round, and I don't know, like when you win three Vezinas, I don't see how you're not in the Hall of Fame,
sure.
regardless of how you stink in the playoffs. And Hellebuyck, I love you, man. I fucking love you. I lived in Winnipeg. I loved what
Yeah.
you did there, but you can't tell me that you were great in the playoffs because you weren't.
Yeah. I mean, what was Winnipeg like under a second or whatever it was from first round elimination this year with St. Louis,
Yeah.
or under 3 seconds or something like that.
Yes. Yes, they were.
So I mean that could have gone even worse. I mean, yeah, they got bounced shortly there, the next round, but that would have looked even worse on him. Just the meltdowns in that first round there with the road games. It seemed like I think it was all the road games where he just was really bad in round one. And
Yeah, on the road, it just stats show it.
yeah,
So
it's a weird situation because the individual accomplishments are massive. He's in line for a gold medal next year in the Olympics with Team USA because in all likelihood he's at least on the roster if he's not
but,
the starter.
but take that away, right? So like that's three Vezinas a heart for the Hall, right? Because
Should
like this
be,
show is all about the Hall of Fame.
yeah, should be enough.
Yeah. So like Hellebuyck can start for the United States and stick it up there. It doesn't matter at this point.
You don't think something like that would weigh against him? Or you think the individual trophies are enough at this point?
No, I do, but I mean, like, you can't ignore what he's already done. So yes, I do, which is why I find this so fascinating to me. It's like this is the most accomplished goalie in the last 10 years. When it doesn't matter. So what do you do here?
Yeah, if we were to look, go 3 years ahead, he retires this summer just decides, I'm done. 3 years from now, we're he's on the ballot. He's walking in, you think?
Carey
Because I
Price is
think
not the one.
he's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't I think Carey Price is an interesting comparison there, but
But
I don't think
okay,
Price is waiting much more than next year.
right,
So
but Hellebuyck had like a far better career. And this is one of those things where I look at that. So like when I was a kid, and it was like okay, so like here is your team here. I'm not doing this well. Athlete A sort of like has a great year, but athlete A is on a shit team. Steve Carlton, 1972. What do you do with player who kills it and then is on a great team?
I mean, you got to recognize the greatness of the player for sure, even if the team fails.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, there's got to be the team accomplishment needs to be there needs to be some team accomplishment. I would think, and whether it be playoff appearance, getting to the cup finals, winning a cup, first round exits. I don't know where that is, but there's got to be something where the individual player elevates the team, and that's kind of helps recognize their greatness.
Right. And I guess that's sort of like where I'm looking here. Uh, my God. All right, Chris. Where do we go from here?
Well, I've pretty much I've mentioned the players that I feel got the most out of their respective championships this past month, so I'm good.
All right, with that,
Yeah, call it a night.
let's call it a night.
Okay.
Wherever you are, wherever it may be, make today counts because it never counts again.
Night.
All right, take care, everyone.